A judge in Pennsylvania just sentencing Bill Cosby to 3 to 10 years in prison for a 2004 sexual assault.
Well,
you heard it, folks. Bill Cosby, the 81-year-old legally blind comedian, America's dad, has been sentenced to a minimum of 3 to 10 years in prison along with a $25,000 fine for a sexual assault. Andrea Castand, I think that's how you pronounce it, claims that in 2004, when she was 31, Bill Cosby invited her over to his house where he drugged her, fondled her breast, forced her hand on his penis, and penetrated her with his fingers, all while she was in a lesbian relationship. I don't know why being in a lesbian relationship has anything to do with this story, but you gotta shoehorn being gay in somehow. Don't forget, if you're gay, you can do no wrong, including raping children. She had met Bill Cosby 2 years prior to the incident when she was 29. Well, no duh, we can do simple math. We aren't that sideways stupid. We can subtract 2 from 31. She was director of operations of Temple University's women's basketball team. I see what you did there. You like the women, so you like watching them jump around all sweaty, and you get paid for it. Truly a modern genius. Heck, I would do that job too. That sounds like a dream. Watching women for a living. Anyways, after the incident, her mother claims that she was different afterwards. Her personality changed and she isolated herself from her friends. She had sleepless nights where she would scream out in her sleep, and then when I tried to find out what was wrong, she wouldn't answer me. That's her mother talking, not me. Not I was trying to ask her. Her mother did. So wait, you were 29 years old, watching your passion. At a university, no less. Yet you still live with your mother. That's sad, but alrighty then. You know, maybe she was telling the truth, but this is being looked at as a big step for the MeToo movement, so it's a little hard to believe just right off the bat empty-handed. The MeToo movement was first popularized on Twitter by Milano on October 15th, 2017. From noon until the end of the day, it had been used over 200,000 times and is growing to this day. So it's safe to assume that there are a lot of people in this movement. The big issue with movements this big and of this magnitude is that people can use their numbers to persuade others to line for their cause. Like the college campus studies where they say 1 out of every 4 women in college gets raped, but the actual study is about 10 to 15% because they weren't considering things like being kissed without consent as rape to inflate their numbers. The bigger the tragedy, the more number of consumers click to find out more. Like if you have a post that says 15,000 people died, a lot more people are going to click it to find out what the heck happened than 2 people died. In 2014, Buress did a stand-up comedy show where he told people to Google Bill Cosby rape, and it went viral because someone recorded it. Shortly afterwards, 46 women had accused Bill Cosby of sexually assaulting them over many years, a lot of which were well beyond the statute of limitations, so they couldn't do anything about it. But let's say some of these women did get assaulted by Cosby. I feel for them, but waiting for so long is exactly why nothing can be done about it. The common statute of limitation for sexual assault/rape is 12 years after you turn 18, which means the moment you turn 18 or are older than 18 when the incident happens, the clock starts ticking, and it becomes against the law, I think, to issue real punishment. They usually don't even investigate it because of the fact that it's so far out of the range that they can't really get accurate evidence because it's so long ago. Don't quote me on that, but it becomes so far out of date that it becomes difficult to issue a real punishment. If you want your assaulters to be punished, call someone immediately. Don't wait years and years to say something. By the time you're emotionally accepted of it, it's too late to do anything about it. You're waiting too long is a big reason why people believe there is a rape system in America when there isn't. If you become depressed, you don't wait till after you're depressed to see a doctor. You go while you're depressed to get help. With everyone waiting so long and how companies keep reacting to these movements, all it takes is an accusation and the people's careers are ruined and the businesses fire them just because they don't want to be associated with the bad side of a movement. This becomes a real issue because even without proof, all you gotta do is call up a bunch of your friends, say, hey, I don't like this person, I'm gonna claim they raped me, and then accuse them of rape, and they're gonna lose their job because the companies don't want to be part of it. They don't want to have someone who could potentially be a rapist in their midst, all because of an accusation that doesn't have any proof to it yet. You just accuse someone of rape, they're out of their job pretty quickly. They don't have to have the whole court case go through yet. There's so many actors nowadays and actual people in high-ranked positions that are out of the job just from the mere accusation of rape. By all means, though, if they did actually sexually assault someone or rape someone, they need to be put in jail. But the mere accusation shouldn't put them out of their job. Phoning up your friends to make a large story or a large number of people say the exact same thing can become a serious issue too. The real reason I personally don't believe every single person that called in about Bill Cosby sexually assaulting them is because the moment it became popular, 46 women piped up out of a total of 80 plus women, and almost all of them had eerily similar stories about being offered a drink that was drugged. Why did so many people have the exact same experience, but there's only two options there? Either he has a very simple method that's very clearly see-through because everyone is aware of the date rapes, so people should be more careful with that, but I guess they let down their guard because Bill Cosby, which is really dumb considering we've known about the Hollywood scandals for so long, or he's just super dumb and does the exact same thing all the time and no one picked up on it. The big issue with the accusation without proof, though, is it's a real repeat of history from back to the Red Scare era. 100 years ago and 60 years ago, there were two different incidents, both known as the Red Scares of the United States. Communism had been a huge growing thing around the world at the time, and Americans were scared that communism would come to America. So people, they were terrified. They continuously blamed other people, saying like, they're acting like communists, and got them arrested and locked up and put into these camps too. Especially if they were Asian. That was a big issue. But it's the same thing now. All they had to do, some people even just didn't even like people, phoned up the government, were like, hey, this person's acting like a communist, got them locked up. That's exactly what's happening now. I guarantee you some of these people who are part of the MeToo movement who phone up saying, oh, this person raped me, are not telling the truth and are only joining in because they either don't like the person or want their minute of fame in the spotlight. Because people get their minute of fame in the spotlight when they accuse someone of this because they immediately get interviewed about it because they were raped. People are going to jump on that. It's like if you said someone had killed 17 people, they're going to be like, oh, that's bad. We need to get on this right now. Rape is a serious thing. So of course people are going to jump on it to find out what happened. But that's the issue. Because of the fact that everyone jumps on it so fast, people get their moments of fame in the spotlight and they'll make it up to be in the spotlight. Don't get me wrong, not every single person that accuses someone of raping them is just trying to get in the spotlight. If they actually were raped, by all means, we need to find out. And I get why they always jump on it to find out, so that they can get to the bottom of it right away. Because if they were in fact raped, you don't want someone walking around in public that could potentially rape someone else. I get it. But it becomes an issue when everyone and their mother and their dog can jump on a case and just accuse someone, get their minute of fame in the spotlight, and not have any sort of repercussions, even if they were lying. But back to the Bill Cosby thing. Castand, a year after the incident, claimed she hadn't said anything for a year because she had to accept it first. Hello? You don't just accept your mother being murdered before you call the cops. You don't accept being overcharged at a restaurant before you go back to get your refund. And you certainly don't just sit back and accept your sexual assault or rape before calling the cops. I already stated why this was an issue, so I'm not going to get into it again. But in 2005, in Montgomery, the attorney decided not to file charges against Bill Cosby because Castand's accusations had insufficient credibility and admissible evidence. She then retaliated with a civil lawsuit. For his deposition, he admitted, this is Bill Cosby by the way, for his deposition, he admitted he had purchased Quaalude, I think that's how you pronounce it, or methaqualone, which is a hypnotic sedative medicine, to have sex with women. But the women part was misunderstood. Bill Cosby later retorted that it said woman, not women. The reason behind this was he mentioned a woman by name, but they retracted her name to keep her identity safe and left the term woman in its place so they didn't have to use her name. He also claimed that the woman took them willingly, knowing what they do, to have sexual encounter with him. The reason this came up is because Castand claimed he could have used them against her that day, but Cosby claimed he hadn't had them or used them for a while before that. The entire reason the case was reopened to begin with was because of these Quaalude admissions, which by his admission had nothing to do with Castand, therefore shouldn't have been reopened. The biggest issue to me is that in 2006, Castand already brought up a court over these exact charges and won. She settled with Bill Cosby, and Cosby paid her $3.2 million, and the case was closed, only to be reopened later and accused again by Castand. Frankly, that makes her look like a gold digger in my eyes. If it was really that big of a deal for her to have him arrested for raping, sexually assaulting her that long ago, she shouldn't have taken the money 12 years ago. She should have told him, no, I don't want your money. Do the evidence, go to jail where you belong for sexually assaulting me. But no, she took the money. And 12 years later, reopens it to then kid him in court again. It sounds to me like she was going for the money a second time. Maybe she ran out. But anyways, that's it for me. I'm a little heated over all this because I really do not like it when people jump in and make false accusations. Granted, she had real accusations, but finding out that she actually came up and did it again after settling with him to begin with, extra heats me. Because she didn't care the first time that he was going to jail. She wanted the money instead. But now it matters that he's going to jail because it's super popular to be ahead of the MeToo movement. I'm a little heated. But anyways, that's it for this video. You got the Bill Cosby show playing in the background as tribute to all this. Some of the best moments. I'll link the actual video in the description. But that is all for me. This is the American Crackerjack, here with the politics and the news. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'm always here.